Hello, Gus.
Hey, what's up?
How are you doing?
What's up?
So, for a while, we have...
Put off making this video.
Yes, we have for a long time.
I don't think for any particular reason.
It could be a little hard to talk about.
I mean, it's not going to be a fun conversation.
Probably going to cry.
But...
maybe this video...
we've also have a lot more exciting content that we could be putting out, but we...
want to talk about this to hopefully...
this is going to be a... yeah.
It's gonna be a tough video to get through.
It's
but we're
something that everybody goes through, and...
potentially everyone. And if not, lucky you. But if you do, maybe this video
but the chances of...
can connect with you, and
people going through it are very slim.
And you can come back to this video and find comfort in it, because we're going to tell you what happened. So if you've followed for a while, our
very first video, second video
that we posted, we went on a belated honeymoon
kind of cruise.
Trip. Yep, we booked it before we were married, and then
we did.
Yeah, May of 24 we booked it, got married in August, and we went on our cruise in March
of this year
of 2025. And it was not the vacation that we had hoped for, not because the trip wasn't necessarily good, but because circumstances that we were put in made it hard for us. Hannah, I'll let you just kind of start at the top, from what happened, I guess, exciting news that we had.
So it was the weekend after Valentine's Day?
Yep. Weekend after Valentine's Day.
So the 20-something
of February.
Chelsea was here and had a slight feeling that I was pregnant. There was a few signs that it could be a possibility. And Levi was like, take a test. And he'd been on me for like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, I'm going to wait until I miss my period this month. Then I'll take my test. And finally, I was just like, you know what? I think I am pregnant.
While Chelsea was here.
So I just went in the bathroom. Didn't tell anybody. I just went in there and I peed on a stick. And then I came out and I told him, I said, I took a pregnancy test. And Chelsea thankfully was in the bathroom.
She was in the shower.
And so he was like, what? You did what? And so we very impatiently waited the 3 or 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then went in there and checked it. And it was very positive. It had a strong line on there. So we obviously got excited. We cried. We were like, oh my gosh. And we were giddy. We couldn't tell Chelsea because it was we don't want to spoil the surprise. So we lost our minds. We made a baby registry the next day. We went and bought baby clothes.
If any of you have children,
beyond excited.
Know when you get that test, the only thing that your mind thinks about
especially
is
at
baby.
First. The first one.
We assume.
The first one, the first time you felt like you were pregnant, knew you were pregnant, you get a strong test. It was just very exciting, and
that baby,
we were just ready. We were like, let's go.
Consumed our life. We looked at car seats,
he was
strollers.
Watching all the videos.
I was watching all the videos, how to become, well-knowledged on everything baby stuff. Hannah was, building our registry, and we just had this... we saw our future, and it was going to be an exciting moment for both of us, and we were just consumed in that moment.
So... and
then tragedy struck.
Then that was 2 weeks before we went on vacation.
Yep. Probably
week and a half. Yep. 2.5, something like that. And then, of course, the next day I called the doctor's office. I was like, hey, unfortunately, I had to move my female doctor because I was going to one that was 2 hours away from where we live now. So I was like, that's not going to work. I'm not driving, spending the whole day to have an appointment every time I need to go. So I had to do a new patient appointment. So they kind of pushed me out a little while, and they could get me in the week of our vacation. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I'm on vacation. That's not going to work. I'm going on a cruise. And I had already told her, I think I'm pregnant, so that's why I'm coming in. I also need to establish a doctor, but I'm coming in because I'm pregnant. I took a test. I'm pregnant. And she said, okay. So she couldn't get me in until after vacation. So I was like, that's fine. It'll be fine. I mean,
we had it scheduled for March 16th, right?
The Monday after we got back.
Yeah.
So I was like, that'll be fine. Whatever. So then we go on vacation, and like the Thursday before we started
I think Wednesday before.
Wednesday, I had like a little bit of spotting.
Yeah.
And I read that it was normal, especially around the time of your period. And I was like, that's roughly the time of my period. I wasn't super consistent, never have been.
Concern wasn't through the roof at that moment.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was very minor.
Hannah did feel bad. That was the first day that she started feeling somewhat bad.
So,
very minor.
And if I had listened to my body, I probably would have caught on earlier and avoided the whole crisis we went through. But I kept like pushing it out of my mind, and I was like, it's fine, whatever. So then Thursday gets a little bit worse, but it's still very light spotting. And,
and we're leaving Friday.
The second day of my period is always heavier. So I'm like, it's probably just that. Like I'm, having a small minor period like a lot of women do. So then Friday we left.
We left Friday morning.
We went down to Orlando, and
we left at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
At that point, I had some significant bleeding. It wasn't like full-blown period bleeding, but it was pretty significant, a little more than spotting.
Yes.
And so then Saturday we got on the boat, and Friday I didn't feel good. I was kind of nauseated. I was just,
we had plans.
My stomach was turning, and I was just not having it.
We had plans to do things in Orlando, but they just didn't. Hannah didn't feel up to it, so we just decided it would be better just grab food, hang out in the room.
And I thought it was because I was tired, because we left really early that morning.
We left at like 3.
Like we did when we drove to Miami for our last cruise. We left at like super early. So I thought maybe I'm just tired, haven't been feeling the best the past couple of days. And again, that thought kept coming in my mind, and I'm like, nothing's happening. Like, this is normal. Again, Friday, I had still very minor bleeding, like not even enough to really say it was like true bleeding. So Saturday comes, get on the boat, and I was not feeling good. And this is going to make me cry. We had gone to dinner, and we hadn't been on the boat but like a couple hours. We kind of walked around, roamed. And we got to dinner, and I was like, I'm not feeling it. Like, I'm not hungry. Nothing sounds good. I don't really want to eat. So I kind of picked at my plate, and that was it. Well, Levi was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't really care. So we ended up going back to the room.
And we just stayed in the room that night.
I remember I sat on the bed, and I was like, I just don't feel good. Like,
she was almost crying.
I don't feel good. And he was like, well, just like rest, lay down, like take it easy. We can do stuff tomorrow. We're going to be on the boat for, 5 days. And I was starting to tear up, and I was like, I just don't feel good. And I think I was trying to tell him without telling him. And so.
But naturally, I didn't pick up on
it. So.
I've never went through this.
So, took a shower, went to bed, and as Saturday progressed, my stomach was kind of turning. Not like cramping or anything crazy. It was just like queasy almost, like unsettling, just not feeling the best. So then go to sleep at like 8 o'clock, and then 4 a.m. Sunday morning rolls around. And I kind of started tossing and turning. I was getting up and down, and I felt like I had to go to the bathroom, and I couldn't go. And I was like, my stomach is hurting. Like, I got to go potty. Can't go. So I was kind of up and down. Felt like I was going to throw up. Never threw up. And I was just up and down, up and down, up and down. I couldn't get comfortable. I couldn't get the feeling to go away.
And by this time, it's 5 o'clock, so and I've already woke up.
He finally woke up. He's a light sleeper, so he'd probably been up for a while. And I was laying there, and I was like, I just can't get comfortable. Like, my stomach hurts, and I was like, I think I just need to go to the bathroom, and I can't go. Like, nothing super crazy, but I just can't get comfortable. And one of the times I had gone to the bathroom, I was like, I'm bleeding a good bit. And I think at that point we kind of were like, oh, great. Like, this is what we thought it was. And so at that point, he finally realized what I'd been going through for the past couple of days. The thoughts that were in my head were now in his.
Panic mode.
And about that same time, I started having literal contractions. Like, my body wanted to get my baby out of me. So I was like, I can't.
She's in tears.
I can't do this. Like, I'm so uncomfortable.
And now I've seen her
freaking out.
I've seen her go through, and her periods are pretty intense in the beginning. And she hurts, and, all women. So this was on a different level. Like, the amount of pain that I could feel from her was scary.
And I remember he asked me, are you just having cramps? And I was like, it's worse than cramps. Like, it's not easing. Like, cramps come and then they kind of ease up and they go away for, even if it's a minute or two, they kind of eventually go away. But I was like, and that's when it hit me. I was like, I've lost my baby, because I was like, it's like contractions. Like, my body, like, I'm cramping really hard, and then it's easing up, but it's still there. Like, it's not letting go like a cramp usually does.
So I'm in natural panic mode. So I called down to the emergency services.
I was freaking out, and he was like, what do you want me to do? I was like, call the medic and talk to them. Like, there's got to be something that I can do, have, or something. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm just freaking out. And so he calls.
Mm-hmm. I called down there, and they were like, we don't open till 8. Can she wait? And I'm like, so I asked her, I'm like, can you wait? They said they don't open till 8. By this time, it's like 5:45. She's like, sure, whatever, but I want to be the first one to be seen. I'm like, great, okay. So get off the phone with them, and we're still going through this, or Hannah is still going
literally
through
like
this.
30 seconds later. I was like, I'm not going to make it.
Probably about 30 minutes, maybe even 45. It was right. At this point, it was probably closer to 7.
See, in my mind, it was literally 30 seconds later. I was like, I'm not going to make it.
It was like 6. It was like 6:45. So I called back down there, and I'm like, listen, she is not doing okay. She needs to be seen now. You guys need to come and get us, bring us down. Whatever it is, she needs to be seen. I finally put my foot down. I'm like, we are being seen. So.
And at this point, my bleeding was like
intense,
flowing. So I was like, I need to be seen, because I'm losing my baby. I'm having a miscarriage, and there's a million things that can go wrong during that process. So therefore, like,
you need to be seen.
I need to at least make this known, like, hey, I'm going through this, and if you're good with me staying in my room, so be it. But you need to know what's going on, so that if something else crazy happens, it's pre-established.
So we make our way down to floor 1, or deck 1, where the emergency services immediately get brought in. They're getting our cabin number.
They wanted me to pee in a cup.
All kind of stuff that they're doing.
So then, of course, basically it was a cup of blood, and I was like, here you go.
So they take us back to the room. They lay us in there. And at this point, we
know what's happening.
They know what's happening.
But they want to confirm and do all the things.
So we're pretty sure, Hannah was pregnant. She's bleeding a lot. We're pretty sure she's having a miscarriage. Anyone who's been in a medical facility on a boat, the amount of things that they can do are limited.
Very limited.
So they did hook her up to an IV, which we'll talk about in a minute. They hooked her up to an IV. They gave her some medicine to ease the pain.
To stop the cramping, and then just some pain medicine to just kind of ease it.
And they did some
blood work.
And they also did a mild exam. And truly, the doctor at that point was like, yes, we do think she's having a miscarriage, but we don't have the ability to confirm it. So the next day, our port was in Mexico. And they were like, you need to be seen.
In Cozumel.
There's no question about it. You have to be seen in Cozumel, Mexico. talking about the IV, Hannah had the worst time.
I always have a pretty rough time getting stuck. I don't have the best veins, but I was also severely dehydrated. Mm-hmm. So that didn't help. The first couple times, it was fine. They got my IV in. It was easy. But then he came back to get blood because they immediately just hooked me to the IV to stop the contractions. Pain. So then he came back to get blood, and he could not stick me.
And as
he was sticking me and getting blood, but it was not enough to run through the machine. And because I was so like dehydrated, so freaked out, so like just panic stricken, like my blood was like not flowing. Mm-hmm. So it was just like barely coming out.
And she was as white as a ghost at this point. And this is where I'm probably going to tear up. The hardest part for me during this moment was knowing that the person I care more about than anyone in the world was going through something that I couldn't help her through. She had to do this all on her own. But the amount of pain that she was in, there was nothing I could do for her, and that hurts. Anyone out there that has went through something tragic or seen your partner go through something that you can't help, you know what I'm talking about. It is a helpless feeling. And at that moment, that's when I was the most scared I think I've ever been in my entire life. And when the doctors could not get her blood drawn, and they kept 40 times in her right arm and 22 in her left to try to get blood, at this point, I'm ready to fight somebody. And I'm like, if you don't get...
They weren't just like trying to stick the needle in. They were like rolling my vein and like taking the needle and like fishing for a vein. So it physically, like, it didn't hurt, but it was uncomfortable. I was like, you've got to stop doing that. And he's in my arm trying to move his needle, and I'm like, that is... Stop.
And stop. At this point,
he was in my hand, he was in my wrist, on both sides.
If you do not get blood this time, you are stopping. You don't know how to do what you're supposed to do to get her blood. Quit.
And they were arguing with him, and I was like, it's fine. Like,
but in this moment, like, tears are just pouring down her eyes.
So
finally, they get a vial of blood that
halfway decent enough
that they can use.
So they tested it, and obviously my blood levels were low. And so they were like, well, we really can't do much for you anymore.
You have to go to Cosmo.
Here's some Tylenol.
Go lay down. And they put an emphasis, and
they were like, you cannot walk. You cannot move. Like, we're going to have to wheelchair you to your room. You can only walk to the bathroom because it's like 10 feet from your bed. You are not allowed to get up and go move. He can go get you food. You can order room service, but you are not allowed to get out of bed and like walk around.
Freaked us out.
So then I was like, oh my God, like, to be fair, sure, it's a very serious situation, but I'm also just bleeding. Like, this happens every month. So I'm like, I understand that I'm having a miscarriage, but I don't see how it's that drastic. So I was like, oh shit, like, this is serious. Okay. So they wheel me upstairs and they dump me out at my room. They leave the wheelchair outside. No, they didn't at that point. But then, he went to get breakfast, and I was like, I guess I just lay here all day. Well, went to the bathroom one time, and there was a big plunk in the toilet, and I was like, pretty sure that was my baby. So we had to go back down that night because they needed to recheck my blood to see if I was losing too much blood and all that stuff. So of course they had left me with my IV in my arm all day. Well, we went back down that night, and it had clotted. So it had closed up the IV. So they were unable to use it. So they had to replace that IV. Well, that started the whole scenario of the fishing. And I was trying to drink as much water as I could sitting up there in that room. Because one, I was like, the more water I drink, the faster this will pass through and we can be done with it. Two, I need to make sure my veins are halfway decent when I go back downstairs because that shit hurt. Didn't help. So he kept fishing for an IV, trying to get something to work, trying to get blood. Couldn't get it. So they finally got it. So early in the morning, they had done it right here, which is where my best vein is. Well, then by then they had done it on the inside of my arm. So like right here in this really tender skin, they had done it and finally got a decent IV. So then it was just like uncomfortable because I couldn't like bend my arm without like feeling the needle moving there. And they were like, we can't really do anything much else for you. And I was like, I feel so much better. Like, I think I've passed everything. Is there any way that I don't have to go to Cozumel? They're like, absolutely not. You have to go because we have to be sure that you don't have anything left. And
it wasn't
don't
a
need
partial pass. It was a full pass. That's what they were making sure.
Yeah. Making sure there's nothing left that we need to take out and have a D&C. So you have to go. And I was like, please don't make me go. I do not want to go to the hospital in Mexico. Like, just not feeling it. No, you have to. So that was not fun. I was excited. I was hopeful before I went down there. I was like, yes, I don't have to go to Mexico. Like, I'm good. Probably take tomorrow. Just kind of lay easy. And then, day or so, I'll be back and I'll be fine. Everything will be great. No, you're not allowed to move. You're not allowed to walk. He still needs to be bringing you food in bed. You need to stay laying down, not doing anything. And I'm like, this sucks. So looking back, I probably would have been fine walking. I don't see that it would have made any difference, but again, I don't know. So I had to sleep with my IV on the inside of my arm, which was uncomfortable. So then the next morning we had to go to Cozumel. Mm-hmm. And they called.
They arranged transport. So called us, told us we had to be down there. Gangway was
like 7 or something.
Gangway was 8. We were down there at I think 7:30. They arranged wheelchair transportation. They arranged ER transportation to the city of Cozumel to their hospital. Hannah couldn't walk, so they wheeled her out. EMTs got her.
I wasn't allowed to like walk out to the ambulance or be in a wheelchair.
And they're different.
I had to get on the stretcher.
And they're different ambulances than we're accustomed to.
They're not nice and roomy like ours in the States.
It was like a white panel van.
It is.
And she's in the back alone. I'm up front.
I had 2 doctors and a nurse.
Yeah, and I was with the driver up front. And
yeah.
Naturally,
or an EMT, a doctor, and a translator nurse.
Naturally, majority of people don't speak English there. The primary language is Spanish. We don't speak Spanish, so
unfortunately,
it was pretty much a quiet ride. There was a peephole about this size that I could listen to make sure that she was okay, which granted, I didn't think anything was going to happen to us, but being in a country we weren't accustomed to, going through the stuff we were going through was nerve-wracking.
And I have to give major props to Royal Caribbean because their medical staff was very kind in the whole situation and how demanding we were, how terrified we were, and how like nervous we were to be leaving the boat because I've been on several cruises. Levi had never. So that was a fun first cruise for him. But I'd been on several and I never had anything drastic happen in the sense of like we need medical help, we need whatever. So I had no idea how that was going to go, but they were very kind. Smooth. They arranged everything was perfect as it could be, and so major props to them, and they had it all worked out.
But naturally when we left, our thought was we were going to get there, get back, all was going to be right with the world. So all we had was a little carry bag with like 2 waters, my wallet, our passports, and her ID, and that was it. And
before we had gotten out, they were like, the night before we went to the hospital, they were like, there is a possibility, if you have to have the procedure, you will need to get in contact with us because we'll have to get him on the boat to get your stuff, get him back to the hospital and arrange all of that. But, you know, here's the number to call, whatever. This is who you get in touch with and arrange all of that. But, you know, if best case scenario, everything's fine. You don't miss the ship. You can get back on and go home.
So we get
perfect.
We get to the hospital, which is a beautiful hospital.
It was very nice.
Wheel us right in, get us in a room. We were like, okay, at this point it's like 8:20 because it was probably like 20-ish minute car ride to the hospital. We were like, great, we're going to be in and out. Everything's going to be wonderful. We're going to be able to either get back on the boat with no problem, or if worst case scenario,
quickly know what we need to do. And that gives us time to work.
Little did we know. So we get in there, and our main reason for being there was Hannah had to see a gynecologist to
be sure that there was nothing left and everything had passed.
So we get in this room, and
the ER doctor had first come in.
Yep.
And
we had a translator that came around and introduced herself.
Liaison, and she was fabulous. She was.
But it was a frustrating process because we get there, none of the doctors speak English naturally. She's coming around. They loosely know English, so we can pick up on like every other word.
It's like very broken English to the point where you're not sure if the question she's asking is the question you think she's asking.
Correct. So
it's like, do I answer that yes or no?
So naturally, we're in a foreign country going through
which was to be expected,
medical emergency, and the communication barrier was very broad.
Very thick.
So we're sitting in this room, and this was where Hannah was already feeling better at this point. She had some color back in her face, but the story gets worse because they immediately come in and pull her
my IV that I slept in with all night, that the cruise was like, it's going to be fine.
We've got it in here so
we're leaving it in here to save you the trouble for tomorrow. And I was
immediately
like, that's fine. It out. It's no good.
It is no good. Immediately have to pull it out.
So pull it out, and they're trying to stick me.
Same process over again.
Trying to stick me.
3 different people. They're using her. I mean, they're tying bands around her. They're smacking her hands. They're smacking her arms. I mean, like beating my wife up. And
cannot get it.
They were like, 2 people have tried, and they were like, okay, we're going to
get the best one in the hospital.
Thank Jesus.
No.
She didn't have it easy.
No. She came in, she got it, and as she was like going to tape it down,
slipped out.
Needle pops out.
She had a good flow.
And I lost it. I was like, I hate this so much. This sucks.
She got it like the first time. It was a little difficult, but
she struggled a little bit, but she got it. I didn't feel it, which was great.
Good flow.
And it was a great flow. She like hit the nail on the head, like perfect.
Until
freaking thing pops out. So at that point, I lost it, and they just walked away. Like they were like, "We're gonna just leave it. We're gonna give you a minute. We're gonna do your ultrasound and everything else that we can do to determine if you need to stay or not. Now, if you need to stay, we will try again for your IV, but we're going to just kind of move on in the process and we'll just let it go."
Now, at this point,
because my blood levels were like good enough to count on the cruise ship the night before, that they weren't worried because my bleeding had basically stopped at that point. It was still very minimal, but they weren't worried based on my numbers on the cruise ship. So that, I think, saved me, was getting that blood ran the night before.
But by this point, it was already coming up on like 10:30, 10:45.
Do we need to turn on a light or two? It's kind of dark in here.
I mean, if you want
it's okay. We'll wrap up in a second.
By this point, it's already like 10:45, and that liaison lady wasn't coming around near as much as she was in the beginning.
When we first came around.
So we're getting a little worked up because gangway at that time was 3:00.
Yes.
So finally, they come back in, get her stuck. All is right in the world, and they were like, "Okay, we're ready for the gynecologist. We're gonna take you back there. Get her in the wheelchair, and wheel her back."
Yep.
Guys pushing her, super sweet. Get back there with a room full of people, and I've never been a part of this ever, but
It's a show for the audience.
Yeah, there's probably 6 people in there, including me. I'm sitting. They put a chair up next to you, so I'm holding your hand.
Were you?
Yeah.
I don't remember that part. I thought you were like in the corner.
And they do the ultrasound and come to find out that it thankfully was a true full miscarriage.
So the doctor, of course, spoke very broken English, but he said actually, that doctor, the gynecologist, did not speak in English. No. So he said to the ER doctor, who spoke very broken, very, very, very broken English, that everything was fine. So she looked at me and she said, "You're fine. You're going to get back on the boat. We'll get you out of here." And I was like, fabulous. And it at that time was like 11 something. I remember looking at the clock and it was like maybe 11:30, 11:45 or so. And so I was like, perfect. That gives us a good few hours to like do the discharge, get out of here, get everything sent to the cruise, because I had to have that information to get on the boat where they wouldn't be like, "No, you're not going to survive if you get back on the boat."
So they wheel us
back in there.
Whacked back to the room. At this point, Hannah's starting to get a headache because it's probably, like I said, 11:45.
And I was like,
closer
I'm
to 12.
hungry. So
she's hungry. We haven't ate. We're like, we need some food.
So they did prescribe me an antibiotic just to be safe.
So they prescribe her
gave me an antibiotic. Levi went to ask if I could have something to eat now that I'm going and I don't have to stay and I don't have to have a procedure or anything. So she says, yes, this is what you can order, I think, right?
Yeah. They just bring her a sandwich.
Yeah.
By this point, they were like,
and we finally met the guy who's like in charge of getting in contact with the cruise ship. So he came around again, a lot in the beginning, and then thereafter it was like nowhere to be found. Which of course they were getting busy. There was a ton of people out there. But
by this point, the financial guy that was working for the hospital, they gave me a prescription. Why did I have to leave you?
Yeah, so he got the prescription and he had to go over into the pharmacy.
Because they had a pharmacy in the hospital.
And get it filled.
Which was a nightmare by itself. So we don't have service. Hannah's by herself. I'm traveling to a different part of the hospital. She's hungry. She's got a headache.
This is what like Facebook stories are made out of. Like so he left her to go get a prescription and disappeared, and now he's dead, chopped up, and
I was probably gone for probably 30 minutes.
It was a minute, and I was like, okay, wait a second.
Because I'm in this stand. It's like street front of like downtown Cozumel. A prescription and I give them pharmacy. I give them my prescription, and they can't get us pulled up. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I was like, I'm on Royal. Here's our cabin number. This is all you need. And he's like, no, once again, broken English. It's not working. So he makes a phone call. At this point, I'm getting impatient and I'm about to start losing my mind. So I leave the guy while he's on the phone in the pharmacy and I go get the financial guy. I'm like,
because he was, other than our liaison, who was just a hospital liaison.
He spoke English.
He was the only person that spoke like English.
Yeah. So I go get him and I'm like, dude, they are saying that they can't fill this. There's no record of us. Like, what the hell is going on? So, I mean, he's with somebody. I interrupt. I bust through the door. I'm like, what is going on? Because I saw his office when we passed. So he comes over there and talks to the pharmacy guy, and they get it speaking Spanish and get it worked out. And they write me the prescription, pay with my card. And we're like, all right, cool. All is right in the world. So I go back with Hannah.
My prescription. Can we go?
Yep. Hannah's
no, you have to wait.
Eating what was not a good sandwich, but good enough.
It had mayonnaise on it.
And we don't like mayonnaise. So it got us at least
something in my stomach where I was like, I feel like I'm surviving.
So we get back over there. By this point, it's like 12:45. We're like, we need to leave. Like, what are we going to do?
Pushing it.
So they come around probably 1 o'clock and give us the discharge papers. And by this point, now mind you, the entire time that Hannah's going through this, they were like, you can't walk.
You can't move. You have to be in a wheelchair. You have to stay in the stretcher.
So
you're not allowed to do anything. And the Mexico doctor, the ER doctor, she made me feel like I was the biggest piece of shit for going on vacation when I was pregnant that early on. You're not supposed to travel when you're below 10 weeks. And if your last period was January, then you're not 10 weeks yet. And you can't do that. And I'm like, since when is that a rule? That's not a thing. I know you can't travel when you're close to like term and like you have to get it approved and whatnot. But if I hadn't took a test, I wouldn't even know that I was pregnant. So why is this such a big deal? I'm like, what? People don't find out till they're after 10 weeks sometimes. I'm like, what the hell?
They get Hannah.
And she's like, no sunshine. You go to the boat, no sunshine. Room only, dark. And I'm like, I don't want to sit in my dark room. She's like, no sunshine.
So they get Hannah back in Mexico.
I want to enjoy the sunshine.
In this little wheelchair, and we're right next to the door for leaving. So they roll us to the door, and then they're like, okay, have a good day. Get out of the wheelchair. So then Hannah was like, this whole time they were stressing this, we're like,
I'm like, what?
So now it's okay to walk around and she's fine?
And I asked, I said, so I'm fine. So the door's right there. I can literally see it. It's 15, 20 feet away. Can I not just walk out the door? No, you have to be wheeled. It's right there. Can I not just walk out the door to the waiting room to sit? Because thankfully they had called us a taxi.
Because that was
to take us back to the port, which was again so wonderful, so kind, and they had it all worked out. But I was like, can I not just walk? Like it's literally 20 feet or less. Like, can I not walk? No, you have to be in a wheelchair. Literally wheeled me 5 seconds. Okay, see ya.
Thank you. I was like, have a good day.
I'm like, this is literally out of a comedy show.
So we're sitting in the waiting room, and we probably wait 15, 20 minutes. I go up, and I'm like, they ordered us a taxi, supposed to take us back to the boat. Thankfully, about 15 minutes, we're sitting there in this waiting room with everybody that's sitting in there.
And they are looking at us like, who the hell are these white people? Here? And I was like, I know, I'm in your territory. I'm sorry, I don't want to be here as much as you
15 minutes, guy pulls up, they're like, taxi's ready for you. We go out, get in the taxi.
Get in there,
super nice, which is so cool about Mexico or all foreign countries, maybe. The car that we get in is a stick shift.
Which he was over the moon about.
So they get us in the car, drive us all the way back to the port, and we made it back in one piece.
And then we get back to the boat. And this kind of made me chuckle. We get back to the boat, and at this point, like, I was feeling good. I was happy. I was like, I'm good. We get to get back on this boat, which was one of my biggest concerns, because I was like, if we have to, like, arrange to fly home and spend all this money and miss our vacation, phone service. I'm like,
we didn't have nothing.
This is about to be a nightmare.
I had a credit card, and they happily took our money.
They happily took our money. But anyway, so we get back to the boat, and we're scanning our CPAS cards to get on the boat, and he scans his, or I scanned mine first, scan mine, and it pops up like security, medical alert, whatever, not allowed on the boat. So she radios and says, hey, Hannah Loden's down here. She's got a security medical thing on her. And behind her, like through the little security spot, was one of the crew workers who was there when I was leaving. And when I was leaving that morning, she quickly, like, I was on the stretcher, they were pulling me out, and she was like, what is your name and your cabin number? And I kind of like, they didn't stop. So I just shouted it to her, and I guess she wrote it down and put the security alert on there or whatever. But she was back behind the person checking people in. And so she peeped around her, and she goes, you made it back. And I was like, I did, thank God. She's like, well, good. Like, glad everything worked out. And I was like, me too. So we went to the medical facility, and our little doctor friend, I think he was just a nurse, but our little nurse friend, he took our paperwork and, got it all worked out.
Sent us on our way.
Cleared us, and they were like, it's fine. But the Mexico doctor was like, no sunshine, no movement, sit in room, go home, see American doctor. And I'm like, okay. So then I was terrified to do anything.
It was just a awful experience in itself, but
much less the situation.
It added chaos to our situation.
So then that was our second day. So then the third day, still kind of just rested and laid low, because she kind of put the fear of God in me. I was like, I'm not about to go in the sunshine. I might evaporate like a vampire. And
so needless to say, we literally spent
our whole
trip
in the room.
But
it was fine. The ship was an older ship, and I don't think it was gonna be the best. The food was not our favorite. So I think it's definitely one for the memories.
Yeah, to say the least. But just it was a tough moment for both of us to go through, more emotional and physical to her, but a lot emotional to me. She took the brunt of it. She's a trooper, strongest person I know for sure. But one thing that I've heard, and I do find it's true, is there's two things that can happen in a incident like we had. Either it's gonna put a nail between you and drive you guys apart, or it's gonna bring us closer. And on the way back, I've never told you this, but on the way back, we were sitting there in the car, and for anyone who knows our story, it was fast, it's passionate, like we met, we got married. I've never felt closer to you in any moment than I did on that 8-hour car ride back. To go through that, to see you endure everything that you went through, I just had a greater appreciation for you. And I want to let you know I love you.
I love you.
And you're extremely strong, and I'm so thankful that it did bring us closer together. And for anyone who has potentially went through something like this, lean on one another. It's still emotional to us this day. It's hard. But we have each other. And I wouldn't want to go through any of this with just anyone except you. I love you.
Love you.
Anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
I don't think so.